Ukraine's Donetsk operation forced Russia to sacrifice Andreyevka push. The battle for Donetsk rages on. Ukraine has launched a series of strategic offensives across the region, pressing Russian forces into defensive positions. In key hotspots such as Chasiv Yar, Donetsk, and Pokrovsk, Ukrainian troops are making steady advances, exploiting weaknesses in Russian fortifications. Ukrainian 22nd Brigade drones have established complete air superiority in the region. In the footage, Russian soldiers are trying to shoot down the drone coming to the vehicle. However, this is not possible due to the presence of multiple drones and the difficulty of hitting these small targets. The Russian armored vehicle is destroyed. More than 200 Russian armored vehicles were destroyed in the region in just 1 year. Russia has not been able to take effective measures against Ukraine's drone attacks. As you can see in the images, hundreds of kilometers of area are full of destroyed Russian armored vehicles. These attacks cost Russia millions of dollars. Among them are the most trusted T-90 tanks. Ukrainian ambushes on logistics routes are forcing Russian forces to retreat. What you see are infantry transport vehicles. These are the ones left behind by soldiers fleeing the war. There are abandoned vehicles all over the region, but they are completely destroyed by Ukraine to prevent them from being used again. Ukrainian forces have been carrying out intensive drone strikes in the region. This warfare technology, which is changing modern warfare again, is challenging the Russians. In the fierce battle for Donetsk, Ukrainian forces are deploying a new weapon to counter Russia's extensive minefields, the turtle tank. These heavily armored vehicles are designed to withstand explosions while clearing paths through dangerous terrain. Built on the chassis of repurposed Soviet-era tanks, they feature reinforced plating and mine-clearing equipment, allowing them to advance despite constant Russian shelling. This is how the BM-21 rocket launcher system, the most used by the Russian army in the war, was completely destroyed in just one kamikaze attack. Russian soldiers detected by Ukrainian intelligence in the city are first pursued. Then the building they were using as a shelter was detected, and the attack was launched by unmanned aerial vehicles. In many areas of the city, such surveillance is carried out, and attacks are organized against Russian military zones. Reports indicate that Russian units are facing significant difficulties, with supply lines under constant threat and reinforcements struggling to arrive in time. The intense fighting has put Russian command in a precarious position as Ukraine continues to target critical infrastructure and logistics hubs. Recently, Ukrainian forces have intensified their push near Avdiivka, forcing Russian troops to retreat from key defensive positions. The use of precision artillery and drone strikes has played a crucial role in disrupting Russian movements and weakening their operational effectiveness. Operations against Russian trenches continue. Russian soldiers in the trenches do not know what kind of attack they will face. In these images, an unmanned vehicle with a bomb is sent to the trench where Russian soldiers are located. The remotely controlled vehicle is heading towards the trench. When he came to the entrance of the bunker where the soldiers were in the trench, he blew himself up. Russian soldiers have no chance of surviving this explosion. This Russian battleship that fell into the pit is still operational. Russian soldiers were found hiding inside. Kamikaze drones are mobilizing and attacking the vehicle with high explosives. In a short time, the Russian vehicle starts to burn and becomes ineffective in a short time with the ammunition inside. The entrance is a very well-camouflaged Russian trench. Approximately 10 Russian soldiers enter the trench, which is monitored and tracked by Ukrainian drones. When they all gather inside, Ukrainian drones carry out kamikaze attacks. The drone dives into the entrance of this bunker and makes a big explosion. The soldiers inside cannot get out because the place is now a ruin. On the front lines of Ukraine, drones have become one of the deadliest threats to Russian forces. As trench warfare and fortified bunkers dominate the battlefield, Ukrainian drone operators are finding new ways to strike deep into enemy positions. In these recent attacks, a Russian convoy is targeted, a Russian T-80 tank in the rear, and an infantry carrier in the front. Drones of the 24th Armored Brigade launch a shock attack on the convoy with high explosives. Russian military convoys continue to face one of the biggest threats on the modern battlefield: drone ambushes. As they move through key supply routes and frontline positions, Ukrainian drone operators are turning these columns into high-value targets. With drone warfare evolving at a rapid pace, the question remains: can Russia find an effective way to protect its convoys, or will Ukraine's hit-and-run tactics continue to dominate the battlefield? The 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade is foiling Russian plans. Russian forces tried to take advantage of the weather conditions. Realizing that they could not be spotted in advance due to high winds, they planned to conduct combat reconnaissance and distract from the main attack. Thanks to FPV drone operators and anti-tank artillery, the Russian forces were destroyed. The Russians attacked again with tanks covering the landing of their infantry. The soldiers of the 47th Separate Mechanized Brigade set their priorities correctly. They burned the equipment and then cleared the Russian assault groups. International support remains critical. Western aid, including artillery shells, drones, and armored vehicles, is flowing into Ukraine, but delays in deliveries are affecting frontline operations. Meanwhile, Russia is ramping up military production and seeking new supplies from North Korea and Iran.